Now that we've run our regression, we're going to interpret it. I'm just going to organize this into a little more user instead of all those decimal places. I don't really need them. One of the things I want is I want to be able to see what these are. So remember, I can come up here, and that means I highlight just like I did, but it watches the cursor changes. There I can pick it up and grab it and move it, or I can just double click and it will automatically put it into place. I can also get these values here, these decimals, so let's clean those up. I can do that here by creating a number or using my decimal places to move them back, but I like right clicking, so I hover over it, I right click, format cells. I want a number, it automatically defaults to 2, that's good. And I'll continue cleaning up the rest and come back. So now I have my table set up nice and neat, ready to interpret. First place I go is over here under the significance F, and I look at this value, and because it is less than 0.05, we know that it's significant, meaning that this model is highly probable not to be due to chance. There's a very low probability that this model is due to random chance. So we have to investigate further. If this is greater than 0.05, which we'll look at later, then we would be finished. From here, the next place we have to go is down here to the p-values, and we want to investigate these p-values. We see that this one is not less than 0.05, but this one is. So we see that the experiment is a significant predictor of the outcomes, and that females is not, because our p-value is so high, it's a high probability that any variance between scores was due to chance. So what we have to do now, because only one of them is we have to rerun our data. So we're going to go back and rerun the data. We go back over here to data, and we go to data up at the top ribbon, data analysis, and we pick up on regression again. But this time our y is going to remain the same, but our x values are not. Remember, we don't want female, we only want the experimental. And we hit OK, and notice that we got another sheet down here. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this, and I'm going to say experiment only. And I'm going to go over here and change the name of this one, and I'm going to say experiment and gender. So we'll do the same thing and clean this up and come back and look at it. So we go through the same process. We look at our significant F, and we see, of course, that it is less than 0.05. Notice that I left it at 3 decimal places instead of 2, because we don't want to ever think about it being 0. So we don't want a 0, 0 up there. So I let us remind us that there is always some probability that this is due to random chance. Then the next thing we looked at was our p-value down here, and we see, of course, that it is in fact ready. So now we have a good model. We have this up here, tells us that 26% of our variance is accounted for in our model. The next thing we have to do is write the equation and talk about how to interpret it.